everybody, Destalker here. So I had a question posed to me about how I got involved in racing, and I realized I hadn't done a vlog on that. So we're going to go way back to about 1984, 1985, and the bike shop I was tended to buy several of my motorcycles out of, and actually had them serviced over the time. You got the right away, dude. Well, one of the mechanics who serviced the bikes used to be a racer. He was actually a very good racer at that. And you know, sometimes when it was quiet and they weren't too busy, or they had stopped for lunch, he'd be telling a few of the stories about racing and some of the funny things that happened behind the scenes, along with, you know, some of the racetracks and whatnot. And I found it to be really, really interested. And I got talking to him, and like I asked him, I said, well, how do you get to become a racer? And he explained it to me. So I ended up saying, well, I need, if I get a race, I have to get a bike for a race bike too. He says, well, let me look around. And about 3-4 weeks later, he said, well, I got a race bike. It's a pretty good deal. If you're interested in it, I know it's in good condition. So I said, sure. So I ended up buying this Yamaha race bike, which was kind of cool. And but then I needed to get a racing license. Well, to get a racing license in those days, what you had to do was you had to go take a race course where they teach you about the racing and stuff like that, and track rules and such. And you had to have a bike, because back then they didn't have the racing and track schools like they have nowadays, where you have all these you know, they all provide bikes and leathers and whatnot, so you literally would bring your own stuff. So I ended up had my one street bike modified up so I could actually go on the track with it, and drove all the way up to Shannonville, where we went through the whole training process, where they explained the flags and whatnot, had the instructors take you through, show you the do's and don'ts, and you literally spend the whole day at the track. You know, you spend a couple hours in the classroom, and then after that you're in the track, literally driving around with instructors, and they have breaks so they can actually, you know, explain what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And it was actually quite fascinating. You know, if you're not into racing, I'd recommend taking a race school anyways, just because they teach you so much about how your motorcycle works and how far your motorcycle actually can go. A lot of people crash their bikes because they think they can't stop, but when you get on the racetrack, you actually realize how hard you can hit your brakes and still not crash, or what maneuvers you can make and still not crash. So anyways, at the end of the race school, you know, as long as you the instructors felt you were safe and competent, they signed off on you, and you were good for racing. And what happened when you went to the track, you actually had what was called a provisional license. In other words, you had a racing license that would let you race for one weekend, so that the officials and whatnot could actually confirm that, yeah, you were safe. So I went up for my first race, and I did okay, and they signed off on me. So I was actually a licensed racer, and that's basically how I got involved in racing. And you know, I don't miss it for a second. It was a ton of fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So anyways, just thought you'd find that interesting, so I just I'd write that little short story to you. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Talk to you later. Destalker signing off.